Pope Francis says the mission of every journalist is to explain the world and make it less obscure. That is no easy task in a world where truth is often relative. This Friday and Saturday, EWTN News, along with Franciscan University, presents Journalism in a Post-Truth World, a two-day conference at the Museum of the Bible here in Washington, D.C. And joining us tonight in our studio with more of what to expect is Dr. Matthew Bunson, Executive Editor at Washington Bureau Chief of EWTN News. Dr. Bunson, always so great to have you with us.
Great to be with you.
So tell us a little bit more about this conference and really why it's so important.
Well, the title of the conference is Journalism in a Post-Truth World, and the many challenges that we're facing as journalists. But the key there, I think, is really understanding what we mean by a post-truth world. We live in an era in which the credibility and reliability or public trust in the press, this is something that you and I have talked about, is really at an all-time low. Why? Because you have a lot of ideological bias, you have celebrity media, you have a cancel culture. But we're also living in an era in which the concept of truth, any truth, is now open to question. We get to make our own truth. And in a world of journalism, that poses a whole host of questions, but also from a Catholic journalist standpoint, a lot of opportunities for us to proclaim that truth. So that's really what is really driving this conference.
Why is that important to, say, the average person?
Well, the average person lives in a news cycle now. You can't escape it in social media, on your phones, at home, on television, streaming. You are, all of us, consumers of news in one fashion or another, even if we don't know it. So to be able to have a discussion about what journalism looks like in this sort of post-truth world, but also how to be discerning in our choices for where we're getting our news and how to unravel some of these challenges, that is of great interest, not just to academics and journalists, but to the average consumer of news. And we know for EWTN News that we have a lot of consumers of that.
So what do you all hope to accomplish from this? And also, how can people get more information?
Yeah, our goal is to have a conversation. Father Dave Pavonka, the president of Franciscan University, wants this to be a conversation. So you can attend in person, or you can also register to watch it streaming live. You can go to franciscan.edu, to the homepage right there, and you can register for either in person or streaming. We'd love to have as many people attending in one form or another as we can.
Yeah, it's going to be very exciting, and a conversation I know that's going to actually continue after the conference as well.
Yes.
Something else I want to touch on, and kind of just to pivot right here, some controversy coming out of Notre Dame. Catholic News Agency reported on this. Talk to us a little bit more about that and why it's so concerning.
Here we are talking about a post-truth world, and I think this is a classic example of that. Notre Dame's hosting a kind of conference essentially on reproductive justice, and it caught many an eye, and credit to the Catholic News Agency for covering this, that they're going to have various speakers talking about the pro-abortion cause. In other words, a Catholic university, Notre Dame, is hosting a conference supporting abortion. Among the speakers is a so-called abortion doula. And we're all familiar with the doula, somebody who helps a woman in pregnancy to deliver. In this case, an abortion doula is somebody who actually helps a woman undergo an abortion. That itself is pretty shocking. But it's also a testament, I think, to the need for a proper Catholic identity in our universities, just as we need to have a proper Catholic identity as journalists, as professionals. And I think this is going to raise a host of questions as to how a conference like this actually was organized, what it tells us also about Notre Dame's priorities.
Yeah, and I'm sure we'll also be following up on this story as well. Dr. Bunson, thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate it, and we'll see you at the conference.
Great to be with you.